So hi guys, welcome to my talk. Yes, I'm originally from Kazakhstan and living for 20 years in Germany now, so I can switch to this slide here. I'm a passionate PHP developer, core contributor, and I'm working at TechDivision. So first of all, what is my talk about? I think the topic is quite with lots of words there, but what kind of challenges I mean and what is my motivation for this topic. So it's also about MSI. MSI is a new project from Magento, which became part of the core in the future. I'm pretty sure you already heard everybody today a lot about MSI, so I keep this part really short. But MSI is also about contribution. So, and for me, contribution is not just writing code, it's more also about talk about it. So what I miss sometimes is that we get some information from agency or developer perspective for us, for agencies, for developers. So the most information we got is always about sales. It's about how to navigate in our backend and less about what are the problems for the agencies or what is new behind the fancy UI. Yeah? So MSI, just a short introduction about MSI. It's about multi-source inventory, so it's new, and this is for me the most important part here. It's the first community engineering project. So it's all about community. We work together. We have weekly calls, so everybody is invited to join us. We have each Friday at 4 p.m. UTC open demo, which you can also see on YouTube afterwards. So you can also see all the demos in the past in order to became better on board, and everybody is invited to contribute, yes? So back to the topic. My topic is about challenges which coming along with the MSI project. So challenges from agency perspective. Because MSI is going to replace catalog inventory at all. So I steal this picture from Igor. I heard he missed to prepare his own slides, so maybe he can use mine afterwards. So the first point here is MSI is going to replace catalog inventory step by step in the future. So in the next version, catalog inventory should be deprecated. So one of the goals or one of the targets of the project is that the experience for the merchants should not change if they still use a single stock. Yeah? So that's how we implement the UI in the backend. So this is all about how I navigate through the admin panel there, and there is at least a lot of stuff which will change. And this is all behind this fancy UI. So there are, depending on your infrastructure you have for your shop, you need some additional information, and you need to understand how does it work and what is relevant for us and for our customers in the future. So I will show you afterwards some cases for real merchant cases. And first of all, I think it's interesting, or it's necessary to understand how the architecture of MSI work and what are reservation as well, because this is the one point I figure out, what I pick for me to talk about the challenges which coming along with this reservation feature. But first of all, there are two really as a true new entities which coming along with this feature. And these new entities are about, the one is the source, so it's not really interesting what's the text on this slide, it's more about the colors, yeah. So the sources, this is our physical representation of our physical sources we have. So the database representation of our physical sources. So for example, your warehouse or your physical store somewhere. And the second entity is the stock, and this is some kind of aggregation part. So we heard in a introduction speak of Anton Grill. So it's also about even more we go to the way. So we have some kind of aggregated data which we show in the front, and so the new fancy architecture behind this. And I don't mean the most code we see in the inherit legacy Magento 1 code we have currently, but the new stuff we built is completely, there are some kind of concern of separation of concerns there. So the sources, for example, can only be written by external input. So we can only change it, for example, by a stock import or by a web API call. And it's not allowed to change this information out of Magento itself by, for example, placing an order. Yeah? The same with the stock here. It's just a aggregated data there, which will be generated by reindexation processes. So we're also not allowed to change them without any external input. So this is why we need this. This is the reservation, and we'll look a little bit deeper into reservation, how it works. I think first of all, it's interesting to know that there are 3 attributes for this entity. So reservation is responsible for deduction, and this is, I think, interesting point here, also for increase the available amount we have. Yeah? It's just an append only entity, so we can just add entries there and we cannot remove them. And it's completely not coupled with any order information, so we do not know which order is responsible for which reservation and so on. So let's see in some kind of example how this reservation works. So first of all, we have our customer. Customer is king, you know. So he comes to our store, and first of all, he wants to know what available amount of a particular SKU we have. So therefore, we have typically our stock management there. So somewhere in our sources, we have any kind of pieces over there. And this is now what coming new there is the reservation. So we also have some kind of list which SKUs and what amount are already reserved. So for the beginning, we have no entrance there, so no reservation. We can provide our customer the information. There are still 46 minus 0 available for you. So imagine the customer places an order, and this is now what I mean with separation of concerns. So we are not able to change this entry here, but we're going to create a new reservation. So the stock not really decreased for us, but we can provide our customer the new information that there are 15 less over. So, and the next, imagine we create a new order, we create a new reservation, have a new amount, and then we have order cancellation. So, and this is why I say it's also an append-only entity. So in order to cancel a new order, we don't have a match between reservations and orders, so we don't know whether this 6 is belong to our previous order. So we just can make a new reservation entry there in order to negotiate the previous reservation. So this is our new available amount now. And the next and last, I think, part for which is interesting for the presentation here is how do we clean up these reservations after all, and how we do decrease this amount here in our stock. So the merchant, for example, comes to the backend and first of all he completes the order sometimes. So he ships the ordered amount. And this is the first external input we need in order to be able to change this information. So we change the sources, we re-index the stock, and we have the new information, and we also have to negotiate the previous reservation there. There is an algorithm which clean up the database afterwards, but that's not interesting for us currently. So that's how reservation works. So I think everybody of you have now a clue what MSI is, and I think we have a good idea about how reservation works, I hope. So now let's look to some customer cases we have. Imagine our customer has a completely ERP-driven ecosystem. So, So for this customer, we all the orders will completely be fulfilled by the ERP system. So the ERP system pulls the orders hourly. The ERP system also push every night for us a new order status update. So we just need to, in order to be able to display our customer what status this order has. And last but not least, we have some kind of additional marketplaces there, so we need to update our stock very often. So we push every 15 minutes, for example, new stock information there. So in our case, which we already know, it looks like this. Our ERP system, so we have our 15 pieces ordered there, and our ERP system, first of all, has also an own stock management there, and our ERP system is our source of truth for stock information. As I already told, there is some kind of marketplace connected, so maybe this value change from another channels for us, which are not connected to Magento. And ERP system pull now the order, decrease his stock on his side, and update our stock sometimes. So now we have an updated stock. So we need, we change our resources information, we run our stock indexation, so we have a new stock there, but we still have our reservation entry, because the reservation entry would only be negotiated after the order is completed, and that happens only once a day or once a night in this case. So therefore, we now provide wrong information to our customer, which is really available for us. And even if we complete this order, the current information does not have, or our current stock doesn't know whether this amount is already here and already updated here. So it happens the same like happens every time. So this is the logic of MSI there. For the reservations, we clear this reservation. We also update our resources and so on. So our information will be wrong again. So what we need to understand is our ERP system is completely the leading system for order and stock information at all. And our ERP system is responsible for this data integrity because it's the acting system there. It's the system which push and pull all the information around. From developer perspective, there are always many solutions we can choose on how can we fix this. But there are, I recommend one here because I think ERP system is the acting one, so it should act also in the future. And so we need to provide an IP method for this in order to clear the reservations from ERP side. And we need to switch off the MSI logic, which clears the reservations for us in future. So in our new case, it would look like this. Our order will be pulled by the ERP system. So afterwards, the ERP system, which is responsible for data integrity, is able to provide us this information that reservation can be cleaned now. So we fulfill the same logic like MSI would do after order completion, because from the shop perspective, the order is completed now for us, for our system, because it's gonna to the ERP, and this is all what we are responsible for. So, and after all, the stock update there updates our stock. So in the time between, we also don't receive the changes in the stock which happen maybe from other channels, but it's the same work we have currently with stock management by catalog inventory. So now we can provide new and correct information there. And even while we disable the original MSI logic, there happens nothing with reservation clearing anymore, and we're still okay. So merchant B is completely the other case. So there is Magento responsible for these things here. We already heard about message queues before. We use it also really often. So we push new orders to the ERP via message queue as soon as possible. We pull order updates every 15 minutes because our system, Magento, is responsible for order notification and so on. So we need keep our orders fresh and pull stock data information also by some kind of feed every 15 minutes. And herefore we have nearly the same problem as we've seen before. The difference is we have a new acting system because Magento is the acting system. So it happens the same. Whenever we pull the stock, before we have updated our order status, because the order status changes maybe just in few 3 days, we have wrong information. And therefore, we also never came out of this wrong information because the clearance currently does not have any connection between reservation and orders. Yeah? So in this case, we need to understand Magento is responsible for data integrity because Magento is the acting system there. It does everything. But ERP is still the point of truth for stock information because there are other channels which are connected to ERP which are not connected to us. And therefore, could be the solution to create, for example, a plugin or observer which clears the reservation even when we export our orders. And we need, again, to switch off the logic of MSI. I think I'm pretty fast. 70. So, back to our example from before. So, we now push the order to the ERP system, and now we have an observer which clears for us the reservations. And as I told before, after the stock update, we have updated stock information, which are correct now. And we also do not clear the order anymore after we fulfill or update the order status there, after we complete the order. So the last case I have, so as I said, I really before, so we have a lot of time for questions afterwards, is a B2B case. I think B2B is, there are no typical B2B cases. Everybody who already made something with B2B, they are completely different all the time. But I just pick one out, which is really, which was a little bit hard case, I think, because Magento was there only an order generator. So we don't update the order status, never. We never update them because Magento just generates the order, export them to the ERP. Magento updates the stock every night, so it's also not that often changed. And we never update the order status because the customer account, which are just a few customers there, because B2B case, there will be updated by the ERP API. So we don't display any information out of Magento database. We just display ERP information there directly. And in this case, we have the same problem. If we export the orders here, the ERP system counts down the stock which is available on their side. After importing the information back, we have now not cleared the reservation again. And last of all, we never update the order status, so we never clean this. Happens never. And this because everything is cron-driven in this case, and the ERP system is still the point of truth for stock information. Magento is still responsible, because we use crons, we work with Magento, so it's Magento is the operating system for data in flow there. And I would also recommend to implement some kind of cron there, because it's the same way like all the other moves are done, and that's it would look like this. After order export, we have regular cron, which clears up all the reservations. And as we never update our order status, we also don't have to switch off this functionality of MSI. And in this case, we will have clear data all the day after the cron is run. So, and my point here is, what we have to do in order to find the right solution for clearing the reservation, I think, is we need to identify which system is the single point of truth of stock data. It's mostly the ERP system or any other external systems, and which system is responsible for data flow at all. So, and in order to clear reservation, we need to clear reservation every time system A, so the single point of truth for stock data, was updated. And we need to clear it always by the system B, which is responsible for all the data flow. That's all from my side. Any questions?